Building user interfaces is one of the first and most important steps you take when getting started with .NET MAUI. We define user interfaces using XAML and write C# code to describe the app's behavior. In this video, I want to show you how to use MVVM or the model view model pattern in .NET MAUI. It's the same concept we used in WPF, UWP or other .NET technologies to abstract the view. If you want to watch how to build the exchange rate app featured in this video, I inserted a link to the first video of this series in the top corner. Before we implement the first view model using the MVVM pattern, let's quickly hear a word from today's sponsor. Visual Studio is a capable IDE, but some things could be better. Visual Assist is a plugin that fills the gaps in Visual Studio for C# and C++ developers. It includes navigation, code correction and refactoring to name a few. It's a lightweight tool with minimal UI and it's difficult to return to native Visual Studio afterward. Visual Studio gets slower when working on large projects. Visual Assist provides alternative features that are faster and intuitive to use, especially on large code bases. Check out Visual Assist using the link in the video description and download your free 30-day trial today. First of all, we create a new class and name it MainPageViewModel. It will become the view model for the MainPage view. In the code behind file of the MainPage view, we currently set the calculated rates to the text property of the label objects. Therefore, we depend on the definition of the view in the code behind file. If we change the label's name or remove it in the view definition, we also need to adjust the code behind file. Let's refactor the code and create three properties to hold the exchange rate for the three calculated currencies in the view model. Next, let's move the API access code from the code behind file of the view into the view model. We also move the data classes. Now the code behind file is almost empty. However, we need to assign the view model to the view. We do that by setting the binding context property of the main page to a new MainPage view model. Next, let's fix the code in the MainPage view model. In the MainPage view model, we cannot access the labels defined in the view. We change the API access code to set the data from the rates variable to the view model properties. We also rename the method to load exchange rates. We can now bind the view model properties to the view. Let's open the mainpage.xaml file. Before we change the labels, let's set the view model type on the content page definition. It allows Visual Studio to provide code completion and to check for coding errors at compile time. We import the default namespace of the app and name it local. We also set the data type property on the X namespace using the local namespace to the MainPage view model. Next, we change the text property in the label definitions. We currently have the default value hard-coded. It's a text we see when we start the app. We use curly braces to define the binding and select the correct property for each label. We have a button with a clicked callback that doesn't exist anymore. Let's change it too. We use the command property and add a binding. We bind to the load exchange rates command. The command doesn't exist yet and we're going to change that right now. Let's open the view model. We create a public property with the iCommand type and name it load exchange rate command. It's the same name we just used in the view. we import the system.windows.input namespace. It's important to know that the view can only bind to public properties in the view model. Next, we create a constructor and initialize the load exchange rates command. We do it by creating a new instance of the command type. If we had a synchronous method with void as its return type, we could directly use the method as the argument of the command type. However, since our load exchange rates method is async and returns a task, we need to define the lambda method and await the load exchange rates method. We can also remove the arguments of the load exchange rates method and change the return value to task. Let's build and deploy the app to test our changes. Let's fix a typo in the load exchange rate command and run the app again. As we can see, we now have a different visual representation of the displayed exchange rates. We'll fix that soon. Let's click the Update Rates button, and nothing happens. Well, let's set the breakpoint and see if the command binding works. We hit the button again, and we can see that the breakpoint is hit. The values of the view model properties are changed, but the values are not shown in the view. Let's go back to Visual Studio to fix it. The reason why the view did not display the changes we do in the view model is because we need the view model to tell the view that values have changed. In the world of MVVM, we do that by implementing the INotifyPropertyChanged interface in the view model. By implementing the interface, we get the propertyChanged event property. We now need to implement a method to raise the event from within the view model. I usually name the method onPropertyChanged. It invokes the propertyChanged event and provides the property name as its sole argument. Next, we need to make sure that we call the method when changing the value of a view model property. We can implement a setter for each property and call it whenever we change the value, or we could call the onPropertyChanged method manually whenever we change a value. I don't want to risk forgetting to call the onPropertyChanged method, so I will refactor the view model properties to call the onPropertyChanged method in the setter after setting the value to a backing field. Now let's start the app again. If we click the Update button, we see the updated values rendered on the view. That's great, but we still have work to do. Before implementing the view model, we used to have the currency symbol next to the value. Now we only see the raw value in the app. It makes sense, since we bind the view model property directly to the view. Let's see how to change it. Let's create a new class and name it Exchange Rate Value Converter. A value converter can change the values when binding a view to a view model property. We implement the iValueConverter interface and let Visual Studio generate the methods for us. We have a one-way binding, which means that we render the values from the view model on the view, but do not change the value on the view. Therefore, we don't need the convertBack method and simply return the value. The convert method gets called whenever a value from the view model is rendered on the view. First, we use decimal.parse to populate an exchange rate variable with the value from the view model in the correct type. Next, we use the same string template we used before the refactoring. We format the decimal value, add the currency symbol to the string, and return the value. We also implement a public string currency symbol property to make the code compile. In the main.page.xaml file, we can now add the value converter to our bindings. However, we need to declare the value converters before we can use them. In the resources section of the content page, we add 3 definitions for the exchange rate value converter. One for each currency symbol. Now, let's extend the binding definitions for the text properties in the label fields with the value converter. We can use a comma and set the converter property to a static resource. We use the name we previously defined in the resource section of the content page. Let's start the app again. We now see the value beautifully rendered in our app. The visual result using MVVM is the same as without using MVVM. So the question remains, why should you use MVVM? What's the advantage of this code base compared to the code behind implementation we had at the beginning of this video? That's a great question. It's all about long-term maintainability. Decoupling presentation and logic is the first step to making your life as a developer simpler. For example, if you want to change the behavior, you change the code in the view model. If you want to change how it looks on the user interface, you change the XAML code or a value converter. Also, you can reuse value converters or view models in different views. In a following video, we will look into dependency injection in view models to decouple things further. For example, we would like to get rid of the API calls in the view model. We will also explore MVVM frameworks, so we don't have to write the boilerplate view model code over and over again. If you don't want to miss it and learn more about .NET and specifically .NET MAUI, consider subscribing and watch this video next.